Okay, so I do this every once in a while. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel and my podcast. For those people who are actually watching this video, it's going to be pretty informative because I'm going to be showing you the exact products that I use for my own anti-hair loss routine because this is a topic which I've been really passionate about. And for those people who are listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you're going to receive a ton of value out of it, but it's better if you watch this video. So yeah. Now, I'm wearing a cap because I did apply those products, but as you can probably see, I've still got a full head of hair, but my hair is basically in like a bit of a mess. So for the benefit of this video, I'm wearing a cap, not for any fancy reason. So what are the products that I use? First of all, I use minoxidil, I use lavender oil, I use ketoconazole shampoo, 2%, I use a red light therapy cap, I use oral finasteride, and I use derma needling. Now each of it has its own purpose. I started losing hair anywhere between the years of from 2021 to 2022. My hair loss was like really severe, and my hair is really important to me, as a result of which I started dwelling into the literature of hair loss, and slowly and steadily, with trial and error and with the science out there, and with like reading information about biology, etc., I know what works for me. But let's probably get cracking. So the first product that I probably use is minoxidil 5%. So like one serving of this is like 1 milliliter. So I probably apply this twice, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. Now, if you apply 8 puffs of these, minoxidil is a vasodilator. So it basically expands your blood vessels. That causes the blood to flow more freely through the body, as a result of which the nutrient partitioning to the hair follicles are going to be far more better, and that's going to be extending the life cycle of the hair. So it's going to be extending the growth phase, it's going to be reducing the shedding phase, so it's going to be extending the anagen phase of the hair cycle, and it's going to be reducing the telogen phase of the hair cycle. So the hair is going to be growing for longer, and the shedding phase, I don't know, it's like sometimes when you guys might be going through a stressful time in the month, or some days when you just look at yourselves in the mirror and you notice that your hair is falling, and a few days later you realize that your hair is not falling. That phase where you suddenly notice excessive shedding out of nowhere is known as the telogen phase of your hair cycle. So minoxidil basically reduces the telogen phase of your hair cycle, and it extends the growth phase of your hair cycle. But if you take minoxidil in isolation without any DHT blocker, you're simply going to be growing your hair. You're going to be growing new hairs, but you're not going to be retaining your existing hair. So it's like trying to, how do I say this? It's like you're trying to wipe your car clean whilst it's raining heavily outside. So it's pointless, you know? So yeah, the standard recommended dosage according to the FDA is 1 milliliter per day in the form of the topical application. You also get minoxidil in the form of a pill, but it's not FDA approved. So yeah, now, like if you want to scale this up, you can apply this 2 times. I apply it 2 times. So yeah, the second thing that I apply is ketoconazole shampoo. I apply this 3 times a day. Now, ketoconazole shampoo is a mild DHT inhibitor. So your scalp has hormones roaming around it, as a result of which the hormone DHT, which is known as dihydrotestosterone, is going to bind to the receptor on the scalp, and the hair follicles are going to fall out for those people who are more prone to balding. So what ketoconazole shampoo does is, if you apply it during, like whilst you shower, and you let it remain for 3 to 5 minutes, it blocks the DHT. It blocks the DHT hormone to bind to the receptor locally. You know, it reduces scalp DHT. So when there's less of the raw material that actually causes hair loss, your hair is not going to fall that much, as a result of which you're going to be retaining more of that. So it blocks it locally. It doesn't really block the DHT within your body. So I usually apply this 3 times per day. This is pretty well tolerated by most of the individuals out there. So yeah, moving on from there, finasteride. This is like the holy grail for all hair loss treatments. This is a drug that they pretty much give to all hair loss patients, hair transplant patients, like immediately after they get their hairs transplanted into their scalp. Because let's say you take hairs from the side of your head and you put it on your scalp, in the center of the scalp, or wherever you're balding. Yes, new hairs will grow, but eventually those new hairs will still fall out if you're genetically predisposed to balding. As a result of which, if you take a pill like finasteride, you're going to block the conversion of testosterone to DHT via the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, as a result of which there's less free-flowing DHT across your body, as a result of which there's going to be less DHT, which is going to be binding to the receptors on your scalp, and you're going to be retaining your already existing hair. Now, the standard recommended dosage according to FDA is 1 milligram, but for some people they face side effects like depression, anxiety, brain fog, their dick doesn't stand, they face gyno, like man boobs, gynecomastia. So I started this off with like 1 milligram per day, and I face no side effects. Approximately 1 to 4% of the individuals face side effects. If you are a healthy body composition, you are a healthy body fat percentage, you're eating properly, you're sleeping on time, most likely 9 times out of 10 you're not going to face any side effects. Basically, that's how it works. So I started off with 1 milligram, and I was like, I'm going to take this every day. Right within the first week, from Monday to Thursday, I faced like no side effects. I felt pretty good. So I was like, well, let me not take it over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I came to my own customized dose at 4 milligrams per week, which is like a 1 milligram tablet taken from Monday to Thursday. Then I was like, let me just scale it back down further. So I was like, let me just scale it back down to 3.5 milligrams per week, which in practical would probably be like 0.5 milligrams taken for 7 days in a week. So 0.5 multiplied by 7 is 3.5. So I'm like slowly and steadily titrating the dose down to a suitable amount, because I don't want to inhibit my own DHT within my body that much. So yeah, a pill form is going to be far more efficacious than the topical form. The topical form is not FDA approved, even though anecdotally a lot of people have said that it works. So yeah, I tried the topical form, it didn't really work for me. So yeah, the second thing that I actually do this once per week is derma needling, basically. So as you can probably see, this is like a derma needle. I put it right here, and then you press like a little button right here, and the needle just moves up and down, and you apply it over your scalp. Now, this is going to promote a process known as angiogenesis. I don't really know how to pronounce it properly, so excuse me for that. But angiogenesis basically is a process that leads to more wound healing. So if the wound is healed, it's going to stimulate more collagen production. It's going to cause more blood flow to the scalp. It's also going to lead to more hair growth production. Now, some people who take minoxidil are slow responders, or even some of them are like no responders. You know, if you take minoxidil, it's going to be pouring down from your hair follicles all the way to your bloodstream, and that's going to be going to the liver, where minoxidil is going to be converted to minoxidil sulfate, and that basically is the material that's needed for the blood vessels to even dilate so that the blood can flow more freely and pass more nutrients to the scalp. That's basically like the mechanism of minoxidil, but some people just don't respond to it. Now, if you combine minoxidil with like derma needling, you're going to stimulate the sulfotransferase enzyme. I don't really know how to pronounce it properly, but this enzyme is pretty important for drug metabolism. So if you're a low responder or no responder to minoxidil, if you combine it with derma needling, you're going to create like micro tears on your scalp, and the minoxidil that you apply 12 hours later is going to seep in through your scalp, and more of it is going to be absorbed by the bloodstream. And research shows like the results have been like literally twofolds basically. So I take a 1.5 millimeter needle density, and I do it something like for 10 minutes a week. It's pretty annoying. It hurts on my scalp, but if you can just tolerate that for like 10 minutes a week, it's not a big deal. And the last possible thing, which has not really been studied, is red light therapy. So I basically apply it on my scalp, put this under like a bit of a cap. Now, there are different types of light. There's the white light, there's the yellow light, there's the blue light, there's the red light. Different lights have different wavelengths. Red light has got the longest wavelength. So the longer the wavelength means the more it can penetrate through different tissues, as a result of which it's going to stimulate more blood flow towards that particular area. So if you put the red light on your scalp, there's going to be more blood flow to that particular area, as a result of which if you combine it with all of these treatments, the results are going to be even more. So yeah, people, if you found this useful, then feel free to like, share, subscribe, and follow me on my YouTube channel. It's going to help me. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, feel free to follow me and leave me a positive review. And if you're someone who wants to transform their bodies, keep their hair in check by building good habits and by educating yourself like with the latest research out there, then all you got to do is fill in the application form below.